Welcome to Dehnu podcast. Your girl is here, Dehnu, life coach, but also a licensed behavior analyst. And today we're going to be focusing on our parents, parents coaching. Over the years of working in the field, I realized that most of my parents do not understand the terminologies or the jargon that we use in ABA. You hear words like tacting, manding, spontaneous response, and all of those languages that may seem so easily understood from another BCBA to a BCBA or even an RBT. But to parents, while they are nodding their heads, they're honestly not getting it. So let me break it down for you, right? There are layman terms for everything. And we can go about this teaching about ABA and terminologies being broken down into layman terms for hours. But we're going to make it short. Today we're going to focus on the importance of parent coaching. Parent coaching is to help you be empowered to help your child. And if you cannot understand the language that is being transferred to you through the explanation of your program or the explanation of your child's program, well, you will not be empowered, right? With simple thing, right now I'm communicating with you guys in English. For those who cannot understand English, it will be a barrier for me to be able to communicate with them or for them to understand what I'm trying to say. Likewise, vice versa, if someone was speaking Swahili to me or say Portuguese, I don't understand. So even as eloquent or as direct and clear as they are, for me, I would not understand. Therefore, I could not do if they were asking me to do anything. Same thing with ABA. So this is where parent coaching comes into play. Here and here inspires to ensure that parents are well trained, well suited, empowered is the key word to help their child. That when we clock out of session, the mom, the dad, the family unit still feels confident, a level of confidence to say, I can still work with my child. And that's the important thing. First thing is you want to make sure you're understanding the language. So let's go ahead and have that done. That's the first thing. You want to understand the language. If you don't know what a man is, ask. And a man is simply that's what it is, a request. And ask, I want something. I want this. Can I have this? Ball, dog, and you give me exactly what I asked for. That's what a man is. Attacking means labeling. What is this? It's a label. I label a dog, a cat, a table, a chair, right? You have to know the simple terms of what it is your BCBA is saying so that you can be able to apply it to your child. BCBA, take the time and have the self-awareness that when we are working with parents, there are so many things that got going on. It could be work, it could be their child, it can be their day-to-day schedule. They do not have the capacity, maybe not yet in the moment, to attend to the jargon. So make it an intentional fact or an activity to simplify what you're trying to describe to the parent in practical steps that it is applicable, right? Apply behavioral principles. You cannot apply what you don't understand, okay? That's the first thing. Second thing is partnership. Nothing happens on its own. So let's get that down. Partnership is key, right? You are working in partnership with your ABA company. You're working in partnership with your family. We are not just coming, assessing your kid, coming and evaluating your child and saying this is what your child needs to do to succeed. No, especially for our organization here and at here, right? A little step forward, we are coming specifically to the parents and saying, what is your parents' dynamic? What is your family dynamic? How do you eat your meal? What is your routine? When do you wake up? When do you sleep? What activities do you do together as a family? Or what is your value? Even your faith takes a major impact on how your life is going to be changed. And then, of course, we assess your child, right? We want to make sure that your child is well taken care of as well. And so when we do that, we assess your child's skills, then we can communicate and say, okay, this is what your child needs help with based on these attributes, and this is where we can help you as an organization. This is a partnership. We're going to write a program and we're going to communicate with you in simple terms so you know what the end goal is and the practical steps, the baby steps, right? A little step forward, right? Leads you to your goal. But we have to work in partnership. So that means when your therapist come into session to work with your child and implement the different goals, right? Put into action the skills that we have written in the treatment plan, okay? And we leave, we want to make sure that parents are actually following the same process. You don't want to teach your child the skill that we have agreed upon by the creation of the treatment plan in a different light, because that will cause affection. And children scientifically is proven to learn differently, right? The sense of generalization is not quite authentic. They need time for their brain to grow. So if mommy behaves to me this way and responds to my asking or my crying this way, but dad does it differently, I am going to learn to respond to mommy differently than I am going to respond to dad differently. That's how the human brain works. It's over time with reputation and consistency across all environments that the child learns, oh, I ought to behave the same way regarding this, scenario with mom, with dad, with brother, with sister, with teacher, with friends, with churches, with pastors, right? Muslim, whatever. I have to learn to respond in all places, because it didn't matter what environment I was found in, they all responded to me the same way. So it's very crucial that we have partnership in order to see progress with your child. Next is celebrate all small wins. This step is very crucial. We want to celebrate every little win. It doesn't matter how small. If Johnny never used to even open his mouth to make a symbol of the in order to say hi, and suddenly Johnny is saying, even if the sound is not coming out and that's the sound we are wanting as a goal, you want to celebrate the fact that Johnny can open his mouth, because it is a step that Johnny didn't have before. This is very crucial, right? As parents, as BCBA, we are always, right, in that regard, we're very similar. We're always looking for the next thing, always pushing for the next goal, always striving for the next success, right? Whether it's with our child, our client, we're saying, oh, Johnny knows this. What's the next goal? Let's keep it moving. We're always on the move. But we have to be intentional. We have to be purposeful in celebrating the little wins. When we celebrate the little wins, that is the natural reinforcer, natural motivation, natural reward, the joy. That is the meaning we're attaching to Johnny's behavior, that, oh, when I do X, Y, and Z, I get an alphabet. When I do A, B, and C, I get an alphabet. Yeah, Johnny still needs to know the D, E, and F and everything else in between. But the fact is, when he is rewarded for A, B, and C, and he still gets an alphabet, Johnny is much more motivated to learn the rest of the letters, okay? Follow along with me. So let's find out. We're parent coaching. This is the important part of parent coaching. One, you want to make sure that you understand the language. Communication is key. It doesn't matter how brilliant you sound or how much of wisdom you have or how much information you have obtained. If the person you are relating that to or transferring that information to does not understand you, it is not going to be beneficial to anybody. It will be a waste of your energy and it will be a waste of their time. And we don't want to do that here. Secondly, we want to work in partnership. 2 is better than 1. We are not fighting with nobody as a BCBA to a parent or a parent to a BCBA. If there is tension, then maybe that's not the best relationship to be in. Professional or not, we all have to rethink every opportunity, okay? And that comes with patience, okay? Lastly, celebrate every win. And this is why a little step forward is important. This is why we name our organization Here and Adhere. a little step forward, because we don't do quantum leaps every time. Now, quantum leaps are important, but we don't always do quantum leaps every time. You have to be patient, and you have to be keen and intentional with reinforcing every single win. If Johnny needed help to clap his hand, but before Johnny did not allow anybody to even touch his hand, but now he's allowing me to, give him that little hand gesture to get him to clap, you better throw a party. I mean, go the 9 yards. Johnny allow Miss Dehnu to help him clap his hands, because that reinforces that level of excitement, right? And I'm assuming that Johnny loved praise and excitement. Not all kids may like praise and excitement, so that go with me, right? Every scenario is different. But in this scenario, our Johnny loved excitement. He loved praises. He loved tickles. He loved, all of those things. So now that Johnny is allowing Miss Dehnu or mama or daddy to tap his hand together to help him to clap, oh, I am throwing a party. Johnny just won the World Globe, a global medal, right? A gold status, okay? We want to do that because Johnny now will be motivated of his own self to do more, because he's trying to obtain that same level of excitement and celebration that happens. That is how we raise our children, regardless of disorder, regardless of autism. That is how you help your child to learn, to grow. And guess what? When they make progress, you as a parent make progress. You as a BCBA make progress, right? The therapists are excited. When we see the data going up, we are very proud. But most importantly, when I hear my parents tell me that their child is actually displaying a skill that they once never did, I feel very rewarded. Okay, and I'll give an example. There was I have a client who never used to really engage much with others, but then they started to do this with other family members. They started to do this in environments that we have not seen them in, and it was such a joy that a weekend passed by, and the next day of session went in having a parent coaching with one of my parents, and the parent went on to tell the story. I was so elated by the passion and the heightening of the tone when the mom began to describe how she saw, right, her child perform a skill or demonstrate a skill that was a shock to everyone. And I just had to let it sit, right? I had to let that conversation sit and replay it over and over. I repeated what the mom said, so that the mom can hear her own words, that Johnny is doing something you didn't know that Johnny could do. Just a few months ago, Johnny could not even take a step, but now Johnny is demonstrating a skill with other people, right, that they never used to. And that is very crucial. Celebrate every single win, okay?